Working the night shift and living in your car. I want to make this video because I had a viewer leave a comment. Thought it was a good comment, made me think for a minute. Yolanda Mack asked me, do I have any tips for someone who works a night shift and lives in a car? Because I had made a video about waking up early and, you know what I mean, getting your day going and different things around that. But if you worked a night shift, I want to make this video and talk about some things to be mindful of. One is I currently don't work the night shift, but I have worked the night shift in the past. Earlier in my career, I've worked every shift. I worked the first shift, second shift, third shift. So I understand the different dynamics when you work different shifts, whether you live in a car or you don't. Currently, I live in a car, I live full-time out of my Jeep Renegade. So here's what I want to share with you from my perspective. One is, Yolanda didn't say what specific shift she worked, but let's just say she worked anywhere from 10 p.m. or midnight, somewhere in that range, till the morning time, 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. So basically overnight shift. You're going to have some disadvantages and you're going to have some advantages. So here's the disadvantage. The disadvantage, what I learned from working a night shift, is you are fighting your internal biological clock. Your internal biological clock is turned to shut your body down when the sun goes down. It starts a whole internal mechanism. Now, some people are night owls, so there's always exceptions, but on average, the nighttime is just a natural rhythm of your body that it begins to shut down over a period of time when it's dark outside. The hardest hours to stay awake, in my experience working a night shift, is going to be from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Because you can make it till midnight, you know what I mean, if you're doing this and that, and even till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. But from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m., your body is going to fight with you to shut down. Because that is the peak sleeping time, 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. So there's a disadvantage there, that you are fighting a natural rhythm of your being. So you have to be even more diligent in practicing structure. The advantages, and specifically now talking about the advantage of living in your car, is once you get out of work, let's say you get out of work 6 a.m., 8 a.m., what you have as an advantage that other people who live out of their car don't, that work regular shift, is now when you go out of work, everything is open, right? So if you're living out of your car full time and you get out of work 6 a.m., 8 a.m., you can go legally to any local park and legally park your car there and basically stay all day. Whereas if you were living out of your car full time and working the day shift, once you get out at night, many parks, unless you're in a campground, they're closed at a certain hour and you can't stay parked there overnight. And you're going to have to pay fees, even if they did allow it. See, now here's your advantage. You can go to any park, whether it's a campground or any local park, and you're not going to have to pay camping fees because you're not staying overnight. You're basically staying there during the day, during normal operating hours. So, and most people are going to go to work. So, once it gets past, 9, 10 a.m., that park should be pretty much, for your own enjoyment, because there's not going to be a high level of traffic during a regular work day, weekday, because everybody else, for the most part in society, is at work. So here's my recommendation. Find a good local park that's in that vicinity of your job during the days you have to work. Legally park there during legal hours. Find a nice quiet spot within that park. And again, get dark window covers. See, here's the key, because you are going to fight the sun. That's the hardest part. You're fighting the sun. Your body already feels the sun up. That vitamin D is getting soaked in, and your body wants to get up and get moving. So you have to create a cave. Your body sleeps best in a cave when it's dark, cool, and quiet. So totally black out your windows. Get a fan so you make it as cool as possible, blowing in air, and try to find a quiet area within that park, under a tree or something, where it's going to be peaceful and you can sleep. Now, you can try to go to sleep as soon as you get off work, but you're going to need a couple hours to unwind. But you have to be mindful not to go past, you know what I mean? You need 7 to 9 hours on average to sleep for the average adult. So you need to watch the clock, and you need to make sure you get in bed, in time that you can get that in that range amount of sleep and have an hour to wake up and get yourself ready before work. So I think that's a huge benefit. And I also think that you shouldn't just always go to one certain spot. Again, if you live full time in your car, you have to be mindful of keep it moving for the most part. Don't get statically stuck in one spot every day at the same time at the same exact place. I don't think that's wisdom. But that being said, you can still have a structured routine within that movement. And I think if you use that to your advantage, you now don't have to worry about camping fees. You now are totally legal, which I always say, you want to be legal, you want to be compliant with the law, because you don't want to live this lifestyle and, be illegal, because you don't want the headaches. So, and you don't have to worry. Like, a lot of people that camp stealth or something like that, you always got that in the back of your mind. You know what I mean? I made a video one time when the cops came out, so you have to use that to your advantage. You have to realize that you are fighting against your internal clock when you work at night, but you can, black out your car and things like that to make the environment like night, and you can utilize the daytime for free parks, etc. Now, here's the other key, and then we'll close on this, is that in the winter, it gets darker early. So, in the summer, it's light till 8, 9 a.m. It's light outside. The sun's outside till 8, 9 p.m. But in the winter, it gets darker early. It gets dark like 5 to 6 p.m. So it's going to be easier for you in the winter because it gets darker earlier. And so if you started to go to sleep, if you worked the overnight shift and you started to, get ready for bed at 3 p.m. or so, you're going to have a couple hours where it's light out. But after that, at 5 p.m., it's going to be dark. It's going to be nighttime. So then you have the environment for sleep. And that's the key when you work overnight shifts, is that you need to get the proper sleep and keep yourself healthy. Because when I worked the overnight shift, that's when I started to gain a lot of weight. My internal clock got messed up, and I was working another job during the day, and my body was just so out of whack. I was eating fast food. I was barely getting any sleep, and I really did not take care of myself. And that it took me years to recover from that. So be mindful. But in the wintertime, it will be easier because it gets darker early, and you're going to have several hours of nighttime environment where it's dark outside, et cetera, et cetera. So, and then like I say, you wake up at 11 o'clock if you got to be, for an example, if you have to be at work by midnight, you give yourself an hour to get ready, and you try to find somewhere local by your job so that you don't have a harsh commute. So everybody's situation is different. So you always are going to have to remember, I'm just making kind of like a general video here. You have to adapt and you have to adjust to your specific life because you are unique in your own journey. But I think that was a great topic that was brought up. I wanted to make a video to shed some light on it. If anyone else who does work the night shift and live full-time out of their car, they have some hints they want to give Yolanda or our community, leave it in the comment section, because that's what it's about. People connecting, sharing. That's how I started when I needed to get my confidence up to make the leap out of a house into a car. I would search other YouTube videos and get different perspectives and get confidence that other people are doing it. Here's their routine, etc., etc. The main thing, like I always say, is, try to do things legit, try to be respectful to your environment. And you know what I mean? Especially, if you're going to be at a park or something, don't make things, just be respectful to your environment. And that way things go as smoothly as possible for you. Okay. So great comment. Thank you for it. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for every subscriber. I appreciate you guys very much. I read every comment. I try to respond to everyone. And I want you to stay inspired, keep yourself in a healthy place, and keep pushing forward.